Hey, Mickey, you're so fine. You're so fine. You brought my Mickey. Hey, Mickey. Yes, at last, the community have spoken, and he has a name. His name is Michael. He was a show cane. Oh, dear. Hey, it's me, Jo, from Jo's Sleep and Slim Down Journey, and I'm really excited to be here. Literally, in fact, I am really excited to be here. I'm a little bit hot. I have my trusty fan in hand, as well as Sir Michael Caine. I'm really excited to be here because the community is growing. We're worldwide. Hallo, mein Name ist Jo und ich freue mich, Sie hier auf meinen Kanal zu sehen. If we have any German speakers on in the community, please let me know if you understood what I said. In fact, if you are from Germany or German speakers, please put the city or county that you're from so we can plot you on the map. Yes, I'm still working on the map. I've got 11 community members locations here, including Shell from North Wales. She was the one who nominated the name Michael Caine. So yes, she's also going to have a pin on the map. But as you say, if you want to be included in the community map, just put your name, your location, and which country it is. Because you could be from Paris, Texas, or Paris, France. I'm not going to do French again. We know I murdered it last time. So, what have we been doing this week? Well, I have to admit, not much at all. Not much at all. And here is the culprit. Can you remember I said that I've gone on to a fourth medication? I'm calling it a culprit. This bad boy is working beautifully. My hypertension has got into controllable levels now. So this is brilliant. On the downside, it means I'm sleeping an awful lot. Colin and I, we've become close over the last couple of days. There was one day, I can't remember whose channel it was, but on there I admitted that I'd literally just got out of bed at 3 p.m. But that may be why this video is going to be running a little bit late, because I didn't wake up until 11 o'clock today. No, I tell a lie, I was up at 6 and messaging because I needed to catch hold of Tanya before she got busy with her day. She's out prom dress shopping with Kyra. So I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. But then I went straight back to sleep. And then before you know it, it was 11 a.m. So I have had a slow start, but I've also had a slow week. But my blood pressure is now under normal levels. So we've got to celebrate that. If that's not a non-scale victory, I know not what. You did see me try and do the where the fans at. Where the fans? Right. Where the fans at? I'm really hot. I'm really hot today. And maybe it's the wrong day to be wearing my favourite jumpsuit. Is it this one? One of them clearly says that it's my dickish jumpsuit. You may in fact remember this from... Was it week 3 or was it week 4? It was a video that in my early journey, and I said one of my mini goals is going to be to fit into one of my favourite jumpsuits. Well, here it is. Hold on, let me show you that I am fitting into it. If Naomi Campbell is busy, then Jean-Paul Gaultier can bring me along anytime. Hold on, let me find again. I am so warm, but the reason why I'm wearing this thick jumpsuit is just to show you that I can fit in it, because this is indeed my second NSV. Tell us I love the community comments. You guys are so giving. So tell us in the comments What are your NSVs for this week? Again, I've just spent so much time watching other people's videos this week because, as I say, I've not really done much else. I've just been sleeping and watching videos. And in fact, there's many people in the comments that you'll notice who have their own channels. If you want to get access to them, the easiest way to do it is through the comments by just clicking on their thumbnail, and then you see where it says subscribe or view channel. Just click subscribe and view their channel. Got some great people out there. Watched a great video on Wednesday. Our good friend Sparkles, now named Naomi Sparkles, she did a very moving video on Wednesday, exploring, maybe the origins of her food trauma. Definitely give it a watch, but make sure you have some tissues at the ready. In fact, I was watching Naomi Sparkles' video this morning. She mentioned that she has had, for the first time ever, sulphur burps. Same here. Honestly, Naomi, I think we're twins. I think we've got some sort of cosmic connection. But indeed, I had sulphur burps, but I know how it happened. You see, I've been mentioning how tired I've been. Well, when I do finally get out of bed, what I've been doing is just laying on the settee. I've even had a pillow with me, just laying there. And I think it was Monday. No, it was Tuesday. And I was there watching everyone's videos and eating my meal. And you know what? As I was laying there, probably laying like that, and I noticed the food probably only got to here. Even though I'd eaten it slowly, it had only seemed to have got to there. So I tried to drink some water, tried to move around from that side of the settee to the other side. Seriously, it was a week of fatigue, seriously. But I couldn't shift that feeling that the food wasn't moving. And then finally, when I did go to bed at about 10 o'clock, that's when the sulphur burps arrived. And I thought, I know what I've done. I need to make sure that if I'm going to be eating, I've got to be doing mindful eating. I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, but we have to do mindful eating because we've got to listen out for the cues that our body is telling us. So mindful eating is you're very much aware that you are eating your meal today, or meals. I only have one meal a day. For most of you have 3 or maybe 2. I don't know. I'll find out because you will show me in your journeys. But just make sure you're eating in a right seated position and being mindful about the food that you're taking in. You can eat whatever you want. I'm not preaching about what food you should eat. I had a Christmas salad the other day. My Christmas salad is made with pigs in blankets. For our American friends, they're the little pork chipolatas wrapped in bacon. I had that, and then I had cheese with cranberry, dried cranberries in it. It was Wensleydale cheese, my favourite. And then a big bag of rocket. That is my Christmas salad. It's as simple as that. In fact, if you do want better food prep videos, I've got to introduce you to Scott and Barni Chronicles. He has a brilliant video. He's got some brilliant videos anyway, but one where he introduces us to his spoon mic. But yeah, he makes some incredible foods. He makes some meals with using a sous vide machine. I mean, honestly, I thought that was the stuff out of MasterChef. Definitely check out his channel. So yeah, mindful eating. The other thing I did this week, now this is a guilty pleasure. This is a very guilty pleasure. I found myself a channel where it's people on a Jamaican beach. The food outlet is called Flag City, and they do food challenges, and they get me to some crazy stuff. It's not like Bed Meets Food, where he is like a professional food champion, food eating champion. No, these guys are just, they've got a plate, not a plate, it's a tray of food. The food looks incredible, but it's who can eat it all or who taps out first, or who taps out last. So you see them, they're eating just normally. They're clearly loving the food because the food, beautiful. But then you see them where they're like, oh my, they're struggling. They're struggling. They're tapping out. And I think the reason why I love it is the the commentary on it is just brilliant. And I'm there going, yeah, one flag city, doing all of that with it. As I'm lying down at the settee with Miss Mary on me. Hello, Miss Mary. You join us today. Um, but also it just reminds me of what Mounjaro does. You know, something looks absolutely delicious. Our eyes are too big for our belly. We almost certainly are not going to be able to finish what we're eating. So I think that's why I love that channel as well. So I'll give props to that. Um, I haven't done anything at all this week, and it's been the half term week. And like all my friends and family, they're all out and about. Um, my sister, my sister Michelle, she went out with her son Lewis and his friend Tom. Now Lewis and Tom have been friends since they were kids, so they know Michelle. They know, I mean, Tom knows the whole family. He's part of our family, really. And so the three of them went up in their Liverpool Football Club shirts to enjoy the victory parade on Monday. They had an absolutely wonderful time. They said it was the most amazing time they've ever had. Sadly, we do know about the tragedy that happened as well on the day, but I do just want to say that sending all um my love, my good vibes, my positive energy to any of those that have been affected um during that tragic incident. Um, in fact, as I say, Tom and Lewis, they've gone way back. And with me living in town, I live in Nottingham City, and I used to love seeing they'd go out partying, but then maybe they just needed to come home, for, just to take a break or something, or to grab something to eat. I would always make them a cocktail because I used to be the cocktail queen. So they always used to stop by and have a cocktail before continuing on their journey. Maybe Lewis's cocktail drinking days are over. He's got a wonderful family. In fact, a couple of months ago, it was Cairo, his youngest. It was his birthday. He was 1 year old, and the family had a birthday party. Now, I want to ask you this. Have you ever experienced this situation yourselves? I wonder, can you actually relate to this scenario? So, Lewis and Tanya were going to have a big family party, family and friends for Carrie's first birthday party. So I was really excited to go. Now, this was back in March, late March. It was before Mounjaro. It was also before Colin, the CPAP machine. But I was determined I was going to go and I was going to have a good time. So tell me if you've ever done this before, pre-Mounjaro. If you're going to be travelling to a destination, it's probably about 2 hours. So I only had enough water to take my medication. I didn't drink all the way through the journey. I didn't have any water at all. When I got to the party, the house was decked out. There were some amazing people there. It was a lovely time. I managed to get myself a seat on the settee, but there was no way I was moving because I couldn't move. I couldn't move without some help, and I didn't want it to look like I was the fat woman on the chair. I mean, I clearly was the fat woman on the chair, but I didn't want it to look like that. Luckily, I'd got a seat on the sofa because I always used to worry about sitting on chairs and breaking them. And I'm saying this as if it's silly, but it's not. I break chairs at every family occasion. So I sat on the sofa and I probably sat like that, chatted to people, chatted this side, and I did not move. I did not move for 6 hours. I did not eat. I did not have a drink. Some people ask, well, why is that? Why did you do that? Well, here's why. As a large obese person, you may or may not have experienced this. I call it shame. For me, I felt shame. I felt shame that I needed two grown men to pull me out of that settee when I was finally ready to leave, and that my mum had to slip my Crocs on. You remember, I wasn't wearing Converse back then because I couldn't get my trainers on. Speaking of which, I'm back in my Converse. Right, but no. Then the drama of going upstairs, sitting on somebody else's toilet, a toilet that is not made for a fat lass, because I actually had a tall, strong toilet fitted at my house. Because I always used to break toilet seats. So that was it. I did not eat, I did not drink until I got home. I think we finally got home about 8 o'clock in the evening. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely loved my time there. It was such a beautiful party. They'd done so much for Carrie's first birthday party. It was a real celebration. But they were how I used to have to handle celebrations before, by not eating, not drinking, not trying to sit down on any chairs without breaking it, not attempting to go to the loo in somebody else's house in case I broke it. Can you imagine breaking the toilet in a house where there's 40 people partying? So, this week, or next week, sorry, on Monday, it's Alex's birthday. So happy birthday, Alex. And I'm ready for the next birthday celebration. Whichever party is coming, I am so ready for it. Bring it on. I don't know if I think Alex is going ice skating, so maybe not that party, but bring it on. The other thing that I want to bring on is more of Wise Mounjaro's live stream updates. He does these now on Wednesdays. So again, check out his channel. Details are all in the description, and see what he's up to. Apparently, he's got a special guest coming next week. What I want to talk today about is intermittent fasting and autophagy. So I'm not sure if you remember, I mentioned this a couple of times before. I only eat one meal a day, and I only eat one meal a day. I think it wasn't what she suggested I do, but she said certainly that she's happy for me to do it. And here's why. So this was when I went to see the rheumatology consultant for the first time and explained, I said, my hands are that inflamed, my fingers are that inflamed that I couldn't prepare food anymore. And they really were. My favourite food is cucumber, although I have a new favourite, the mighty kiwi fruit. Oh, I can't wait for this. But I couldn't unwrap a cucumber. You know what I'm trying to say, and I'm going to keep it clean. So I couldn't do it. I couldn't even open the packet of salad, because I always love a bit of rocket and water salad, water chestnut salad. Am I saying that right? I don't know. Watercress. Love that salad. Oh, speaking of which, I've got egg and cress again for today. So anyway, now I'm not got egg and cress today because I'm intermittent fasting. Because I'm a kiwi fruit. So this is why. I normally eat one meal a day. And that means that for up to 24 hours, my body has not been worrying about having to digest anything, which is great as well for Mounjaro because it slows down the digestive process. Can you remember we were told, probably in the 90s, I think it was, it's really important that you eat 6 times a day because you've got to keep your basal metallic rate going. That's the word I'm looking for. As if we're putting coals into the steam engine, because that's how you keep the basal metallic rate going. It was humcum. Is that the word I'm looking for? It was hocus. In fact, many people are still losing weight on the 6 small meals a day, and that's fine, that works for them. But what that actually does is, while your body's busy dealing with the digestion system, it's forgetting all the other stuff that it's supposed to be doing. One of the biggest things it's supposed to be doing is autophagy. I'm not sure if you've heard this word out there. I'm sure Carrie did a piece on this in one of her videos a few months ago. So I'll put a link into that one as well. But ultimately, autophagy is like, it's like the recycling process. It's the cleanup process that your body does with the cells. So think of it like Hoarders. You've seen that program Hoarders, and you see people's houses where there's no room to look without there being something there. I mean, don't get me wrong, one man's trash is another man's treasure, but there's hoards and hoards of it. That's what our body was doing when we were eating 6 small meals a day. It wasn't clearing out the old cells. So as you say, I've known I've been having like all these awful ill health issues. And one of the worst things used to be that if I was ever run down, then all my mouth would get mouth ulcers. I'd get ulcers in my nose. Then before you know it would hit my kidneys. And then I'd be again having a flare up again. And the flare up was also linked to things like, it would be a flu, just the flu that's going around. But your body would normally be trying to get rid of those cells unless you eat it 6 times a day and you're hoarding it. So intermittent fasting, where you eat, maybe you could do 16-8. I think that's what it is. We know my maths is poor. Where, let's say you eat your evening meal, 7 p.m. with the family. You don't eat anything else. You skip breakfast and then you eat again at lunchtime. So let's say you eat at 12 o'clock and then you can have lunch and then evening meal and finish eating at 8. That's a 16-8. Well, I do 24 hours because it works for me. But every now and again, I've said it before, once a month, in fact, I do a 3-day extended fast. And that's what I'm doing today. So I started it last night. I had my evening meal at, I think it was about 5 p.m. last night. And I will not eat a big meal until Sunday at 5 p.m. I can, of course, have small things like a kiwi fruit, a satsuma, a big chunk of cucumber with a bit of salt on there, and one of my bone broths. And I even make my own sugar-free jelly. I'll put the ingredients in the description. But essentially, I just get 3 packets of gelatin. The gelatin you use for baking. 3 packets of that. A pint of hot water. And then I put a dash of lime cordial, because especially things like Rose's loud cordial, it doesn't have added sugar. And then maybe a squeeze of lime juice as well. Put it in the fridge, just put it in like a little container, and then after a while I cut it into cubes, and because they've used the 3 packs of gelatin, they turn into like little gummy cubes. They're great, especially for this time of year. So my 3-day fast works a little bit like, remember Kim and Aggie from How Clean Is Your House? It works like that. They race through my body, getting all the cells, clearing it out. There's that flu that I had. Let's get it out. They might find a couple of dead cat skeletons. Sorry, Miss Mary, we're not talking about dead cat skeletons. I used to see that on Hoarders. There's ought to be a couple of dead cat skeletons. What there? Anyway, but that's what autophagy does, and the 3-day fast. It really helps clear those cells out, those bad cells that have been lingering a little bit too long, and they just need to get out your house, or get out of your body. And so that's what I'm on now. For more information about that, I'll put a link to another one of Dr. Fung's videos in the link. Dr. Fung is somebody I look up to a lot. It was, in fact, the rheumatology consultant who signposted me to Dr. Fung, so he is legit. And I'll put a link to that. Before I started, I actually did my weigh-in yesterday, because what tends to happen on a 3-day fast is I probably lose about 6 pounds, but then I'll put it 3 pound back on as soon as I start eating. So what I thought I'd do is I'll show you how that works in next week's what's the word I'm looking for? Weigh in. So I weighed myself yesterday, and I am beyond pleased to explain. Last week, I lost 2.5 kilos, which is 5.5 pounds. As I say, I've not even started the fast yet. I've been having some amazing meals this week. But no, I started the fast last night, so we'll see the difference. But ultimately, that means that by week 8, so I took my first jab on the 28th of March, would it have been? I can't remember. It must have been the 28th of March. Because it was just after Carrie's birthday party. So, just over 2 months, I've lost 2 stone and 5 pounds. Don't get me started. I am excited. I will not dance because I'm so hot already. I have a long way to go. Like Chris at Mounjaro have explained, we're in it for the long haul. So definitely stick with me. Definitely stick with me in this channel. I'm going to keep recording this journey every week. So bear with. On that note, let me go and get the injection pen. Okay, so this week I will be starting my 5 mg pen, but we're going to do things slightly different here. On the box it says each multiple dose pre-filled pen contains 4 doses of 0.6 ml solution which can be administered. Each dose of 0.6 contains 5 mg of tirzepatide. And then it's got the ingredients in there, and then it says read the package leaflet before use. So we discussed about making sure we read the packet leaflet in there. So when I'm opening the pack, we have the 2 leaflets. I'm not going to read them now because I've read them in some detail before. But I also had a conversation with my pharmacist this week. Remember, that's how I found out that this is the cause of my excessive tiredness and fatigue. Apparently, this is actually going to, I'll get used to this dose and then the fatigue will go. So I'm happy to enjoy Colin for some time yet. So this is a 5 meg pen. And we can see, it says on there, once weekly. I spoke to the pharmacist and I says, pharmacist, I've really been enjoying a 5 meg dose, but I've been using the 2.5 pens and I've been taking 2.5 on a Friday and 2.5 on a Tuesday. I'm okay to continue doing that. She says, so long as you're only taking 5 meg, the moment you take more, you have to let us know. And of course, I have to let them know because it interacts with my medication. So I'd say the same thing for you guys. If you're going to be making any changes to the way you take the medication, be sure to let the pharmacist and your healthcare providers know. But I've now got a 5 meg pen. So what am I going to do? It expires on the 2nd of, February 2026, so we know that it's within date. Everything looks fine with it. I've got to prepare the pen, so I'm going to do that right now using the alcohol swabs we get. So to prepare the pen, we always have to make sure we swab the red seal that's in there, because that's where the needle will enter. And as Neil said in his last video, I'll clean that down as well. You know, always make sure. I would also use the swab to clean my injection site. Again, I can't do the injection on video because I have my jumpsuit on. So I'll be doing that off camera, but this is what I'm going to do on camera. So I prepare the pen, take it to the dash, and then what I would normally do is put the needle in and we will do the prep. Before I do that though, I want to show you two different ways of accessing, excuse me, two different ways of accessing only 2.5 megs from this dosage. I bought the disposable insulin syringe. This was a suggestion initially by Chris on Mounjaro, because this pen is a little bit too cumbersome for me, and with that dial, especially when my thumb is suffering from the inflammation. So this one should be much more easier to use. So remember, it said on here that 0.6 is a full dose of 5. So if I was going to get a half dose, I would be wanting to go to 3 on the dial rather than 6, because the 6 is the full dose, 3 of course is half. So what I would do is I'd open the needle and I would stick that into the red seal, and I would pull out 0.3 or 30 as it shows on here, 30 units. I'm not going to do that today because my hands aren't steady, and I don't want to try showing you something and then botch it up because my hands aren't steady. I've used that now, so I'm going to put that in the bin, the sharps bin. Instead, there's another way of doing it. So again, I'm going to prep the pen. By putting the needle on the end. I'm going to take off this cap here, and we've got this pen so it's ready to prep. So you press it and then hold it for 5. There's the bead of the medication just coming out. So there, it's fine. I'll flick it as well just to make sure there's no there's no bubbles in there. That's prepped. Again, I've just explained that my fingers are very clumsy today, so I'm going to put the cap back on as I explain this process. So when you go to 0, listen for how many clicks there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. There are 60 clicks to get you to the full dose. Remember, on the needle, 60 units is 0.6. So 60 units, 60 clicks. So I only went half. Come on, folks, you know the maths. We're going to go to 30. So I've got a Sharpie pen at the ready, because we know how ridiculous I can be sometimes and forget my own name. I need to make sure that when I take this next dose, I'm not taking a 5 meg. So I'm going to mark 30. So let me count them again. I'm not going to let you listen to the count again. We'll get us to 30. 1, 2, 3, 28, 29, 30. I'm going to mark on the pen that that's my dose. When those 3 lines meet, that is my dose. And I will be doing this until the 2 doses of 2.5 no longer suppress my appetite and the food noise comes back. You know, we do not like to hear the food noise. I will still continue buying the 5 mg pen, because the moment that the noise comes back and 2.5 isn't available, isn't hitting it anymore, I already have 5 megs available. So I'll continue to buy the 5 meg pen, but I'll be doing it in two doses. So I'm going to go away now and take the dose. How do you guys do yours? Do you do something similar? If you've tried the microdosing, let me know. As I say, my pharmacist said it's okay because I'm only taking 5 meg. But let me know if you do something similar. Let me know if you use the golden dose. I've still not used the golden dose yet. I didn't on the last one pen because the golden dose was 2.5 and I did not want to be messing around trying to work out what 2.5 is on that pen when I'm trying to do 2.5 on this new pen. Again, we know how my brain works. So by all means, put it in the chat if you've done something similar. In fact, the other thing I want you to put in the chat, if you're a subscriber and you're also on a GLP-1, whether it's Mounjaro, Zepbound, whether it's a Zempic, any of the kind, let us know how you're getting on in the chat. Let us know how much you've lost, what you're eating, and what your NSV is. I love the NSV stories. So please share all this stuff in the chat. You know I love it. I can't tell you how many hours I've slept this week because I've just slept loads. So I've not even done a sleep report for you. But Colin is much appreciated. I definitely feel that when I am sleeping, I'm getting the oxygenated rest. Whereas before, in my sleep apnea, there was no oxygenated rest. My oxygen levels were crazy low. So I do feel that it is restorative, although I am enjoying a long rest. If you've tried my sleep mist recipe, remember I put that in the week 7 video. If you've tried that, let us know how you slept. Did it work for you? I found a sleep mist recipe that I pulled together, and I think I must have made it this time last year. And it is so potent. That's not why I'm still sleeping. But Miss Mary won't sleep with me anymore. It's too strong for Miss Mary. But normally, if the recipe that I made, that should be a breeze for you and your loved ones, including your pets. So, until then, sleep well, slim down, and I'll see you next time.